We are recording the interview of James Hamann. This interview is being conducted by Ericka Carter from the Wright State University Veterans Voices Project. This interview is being recorded at the DoubleTree Hotel, 300 Prestige Place, Miamisburg, Ohio. It is 6:30 p.m. on September 13th, 2019. How are you today?
So far, so good.
Okay. Great. Where and when were you born?
November 26, 1933, Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Who were your parents and what were their occupations?
The what?
Who were your parents?
Oh, my mother's name was Veronica O'Connor, and my father's name was Vernon Hamann.
And what did they do?
My mother was actually a mother all her life. She never went and worked.
Okay.
My dad was a salesman for various effort sales.
Is that a company? Various efforts? Or just different companies?
The last one I knew of, he was worked for some garbage truck company, sold garbage trucks, which was a premier job in them days, selling new garbage trucks to everybody because there were no garbage trucks before.
Okay. Do you have any siblings?
I have two brothers, one's dead, one's still living, and two sisters, both living.
Did any of them serve in the military also?
No, I'm the only one in the family.
Okay. What made you choose the military?
Well, at the time I was going to the small community college back in the 50s, and the Korean War was going on, and my buddy and I decided, hey, we're not doing anything here. And when we went to the enlisted office before we got in, he says, even if you don't make a career out of it, you're going to get money to go to school. So that was why we went in.
Okay. So you were going to community college, and then you went to the recruiter's office after?
Yeah.
Okay. And then, I need school money, sign me up. Which branch did you choose?
I chose the United States Marine Corps.
Why?
That was the only one that because I had passed all the tests that I wanted to get to. I wanted to fly an airplane. And they said, first of all, you have to go through boot camp.
Do you remember boot camp?
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
We left because it was nice and cold here. It was December here when we left. It was nice and warm when we got down to San Diego.
Oh.
And while we went through boot camp, the federal government was always looking because they wanted the smartest Marines in the stuff I'm going to tell you about, which we didn't know. After we got graduated, I was only given a 10-day leave of absence because as you're coming back here, you're going to go on nuclear training. In the nuclear training, we had only 10 days, and went to Camp Pendleton, where we took nuclear training. This training also consisted of background checks of what we were going to be working for. We didn't know, I'll tell you who we're working for because I know what it was now. We went to work for the Atomic Energy Commission. And we were trained, and the highest and the brightest and most athletic persons in the Marine Corps at this time. I do not know what the minimum IQ that you had, but I do remember the highest one of the guys that we worked with, and I was with in the Marine Corps, he had 160. So we had to be somewhere below that. We don't know what it was, but the other thing that you had, if you had one on there already, a lot of Marine Corps guys had it, if you had a tattoo, you were gone. Or if you have any communist affiliation with anybody that you were asked for, you were gone also. So I made it through all the above. And in this staging area, they were interviewing all the Marines in the Marine Corps at this time to get approximately 1,000 men. And this staging area right now is where the 1st Marine Division is. When we were put in this staging area, they made us do our own main gate. Even the military police and anybody else did not know who we were doing because we're going through the special clearance of the Q clearance working for nuclear weapons. The only time anybody could come in there if there was a fire or if they had a medical. And even the MPs didn't know who we were. They couldn't even come in. So it wasn't until we got all the clearances and they wanted us to where the base was, where we are all Q cleared to go to the special base that I mentioned here already, which was Lake Mead Base, which is an Atomic Energy Commission base, CG Ericka Command, Armed Forces Special Weapons Project.
Is Lake Mead Base still around?
Lake Mead Base is still there. It's still heavily making the other stuff that we should be using, but we aren't. What they're probably making is the warheads with depleted uranium that they use over in the Middle East right now. The base is qualified to make, and they still were at that time, to make any material base of atomic weapons, whether it was a bomb, a submarine, or missile heads. And they're still doing that. It's a big weapons storage area for all this stuff. I don't know how many billions of dollars worth of nuclear weapons in there, but I know there's quite a bit in there.
When you joined the Marine Corps, were you like, I'm gonna go be a pilot and this is the job I'm signing up for?
That never happens in military. I never got to fly an airplane.
Okay.
They changed my MOS to Atomic Energy came in, and that is not even mentioned as far as on my MOS. They were smart enough to do that because if we worked with atomic weapons, spies be looking at us. The same thing as like tattoos. You can't have any recognition like that. So they gave us the lowest grade possible not to be recognized that you work with nuclear weapons.
So what was that? What was your title?
They just gave it the regular boot camp, old something, whatever it was.
So you were like
the minimum of MOS that the Marine Corps has
just a
when you
grunt.
first come in.
A grunt or
like a private or whatever.
Okay, so that was your rank.
Well, it was
paper.
ran when you went to boot camp, yeah. But that changes after a while.
Right. Okay. Okay. So this is a lot to take in. You were picked up, shifted into this highly secret, highly specialized field. How long was that training?
Probably about 6 months we were doing that. Also, this training wasn't the highly specialized training that we thought it would be, but it was still long training. The other reason being because they were focusing to try to get as many men as possible to do that, to get these 1,000 people to go up to this base. So sometimes they were making up problems for us to do, just to keep our mental attitude as sharp as possible and do what they wanted to do. And when they did this, they probably made rank a lot faster working with us guys than they would in the normal Marine Corps.
Okay. All right. So you went in enlisted? Or
Yes.
you went in? Okay.
Yeah, we're just enlisted. There's no way you can go in commission unless you go through college.
Okay. Okay. So how did you adapt to military life once you got in the Marine Corps? Was it easy, hard, so-so?
Well, it was just like with Strategic Air Command, which we are on right now. We're on Alpha 1. You work 24 hours a day. And you find out people's time slots. My time slot on a 24-hour duty base was actually about 11 o'clock in the afternoon to 6 o'clock at night. And everybody had different time slots, and of course you worked, when you're on duty, you worked 24 hours a day. And you had different time shifts, 3 different shifts of 8 hours a day.
Okay, okay. When did you change stations?
The training station?
Mm-hmm.
At Camp Hilton.
Okay, and then after Camp Pendleton, where did you go?
Lake Mead Base, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Okay, and then after that? How long were you at Lake Mead?
3 years.
3 years?
Yeah, 3 years.
Wow. What did an average day look like?
24 hours a day, just like anything. Thank God, Las Vegas, the same thing. 24 hours a day.
Okay.
You could go out on liberty anytime you wanted to. You don't have any time to get back. The only time if you had to be back by, it was early in the morning.
Okay. Okay. So being near Las Vegas, you were a young man.
Yeah.
Did you take liberties?
Oh yeah, you had to take liberty. The other thing on the base is because they knew you had to have some other thing. I played a lot of sports to get out of the 8-hour or 24-hour duty bases. I played every sport I could make because I was pretty good. Even when I was small, I was pretty good at everything. So I played football, basketball, baseball, and especially golf, because golf took a little bit longer than the rest of them, and fast pitch.
Okay.
And golf, I got to go quite a bit because there are other bases just like ours. We played inter with these other bases around the country. So that was the best part of it, and the same with the other sports. So it all depended who needed to be the worst or the best to where I wanted to go. And I usually made all of them.
Okay.
Now the other thing on this base too, the nuclear testing took place right in Las Vegas, 65 miles north of us. And our base processed all the warheads for anything they wanted to do. We were never given any information of if our base material was up there on the test sites. We didn't know. That was a top secret. But we were given special duties, and they weren't even highlighted on it. Oh, I got to go revert back a little bit. When I was also in training to this, we were trained, we were screened by the SOS, CIA, and the FBI for what they call working for nuclear weapons, the nuclear weapons clearance, called the Q clearance. And it's never, on all the years I've been looking for anybody that's on that Q clearance, I've never seen anybody have it in writing. That's another thing that the Atomic Energy Commission was never in writing. We verbally knew it, and today it's still being used the same way by the Air Force, the missileers, and especially the Navy, where they have all the missile sites, the missiles on the submarines, and also some of the carriers and some of the other warships that they have them on. And like today, we're on Alpha 1. We got 1,500 missile sites across the United States, plus our secret submarines. The only one that knows where that is the captain of that submarine. And on the missile site bases, they're also Alpha 1. They're working 24 hours a day. 10 guys making a shift every 12 24 hours. That's quite an expense. When you look back at it not too long ago, I don't know if you're old enough to remember, I remember like that because we were in a Cold War with Russia. That's the communists. But we got trained for nuclear weapons. And all these missile sites, air bases that we built, billions of dollars. And I got to my head, I'm thinking, who's going to go broke first, Russia or us? Well, Russia went broke first. That was 1989 or 1999, because I was in Berlin the night the wall went down. Mm. And it's a special occasion for me because Colin Powell is in my room on the TV, 8 hours difference. I'm talking about the same distance from you and I. And he addressed me just like a personal thing. He says, Jim, the wall just went down. I said, no, Colin, I'm right here. He said, we have some 400 and some bases in Europe. If we're closing half of them. I don't know what the figures are at that time, but just think. Like I said, who's going to go broke first? And all the equipment that we had, it's still laying over there somewhere. It's not being used. It could be stockpiled somewhere, or it could be recycled somewhere.
Hmm. That is.
Anything else you need to know?
Well, I'd like to find out some more about you. So you, after your time in Nevada, do you know how many nuclear tests they did while you were there?
Oh, that's another thing, yeah. I was going to get back to that. Because we had the Q clearance and the security clearance, and we knew how to handle weapons. There was 14 tests in 1955 called Teapot. Now, I do not know what test I got sent up to because there was never any written orders. I'm going to tell you just how it happened. If you didn't get off base, they wrapped you with that 18-inch baton on the bottom of your feet, get your ass up, you're going up to the test site. So they took us up to the test site. It was always at night. There was between 12 and 16 guys in each deuce and a half truck. There was probably maybe a minimum of 4 trucks, up to 12 trucks. And our orders, before we even got the trucks off, because when they told us there's trenches up there 9 miles by 24 miles long. And we didn't know it at the time at night because we couldn't see how many troops there was. But later on, we went back to the test sites and they told us there was anywhere between 9,000 troops and 24,000 troops in those trenches waiting for the bombs to go off. Now, our orders from the commanding officers, if anybody got out of hand, was shoot to kill. Thank God it didn't happen. But that's what we had, because I had a 45 and a carbine that was ready to go. And you had to have that ready in case somebody got out of hand.
What do you mean by out of hand?
Going crazy. See these bombs blowing up and going everything. People get all kinds of excitements going on in their body. Well, that's another thing. They picked us for our head schemes too. You had to go through a psych with your mind to make sure you could handle all this stuff.
So
just like the submariners they go through that too.
So you didn't like lay in a trench, you were standing up when these...
We were standing up watching these guys at night with special glasses and binoculars.
And you didn't have anything covering your body either?
Just my body cover, that's all I had.
Your normal gear?
And my helmet, my metal helmet, yeah. No, other than that, no helmet. Just my dungarees. That's all we had.
So you yourself were exposed to the atomic blast?
We were exposed to the atomic bombs, yes. 5 times I was up there.
How old are you? How old are you?
I might be only 86, the same as the bar names, so I can get qualified to get out.
Okay. How's
I was
your
19 or 20 or, 19 to the 20s when we were in there.
How's your health? How are you doing? How's your health?
Oh, I've got a lot of problems with it. There also was a key word in the nuclear weapons. What I mentioned it just before you, if you were there, you heard it. I asked that lady if because they were high tech. Most of those people are in there guinea pigs. Oh, they were in the trenches. I wasn't. These guys didn't know anything about what I'm telling you right now. The magic word, if there was on base, where they processed the material in the C building or the D building, that's where they processed it could be plutonium or uranium. And the night I got rolled, and there's a key word in the nuclear weapons, if something goes wrong, it's called broken arrow. We got that over the phone at 2:30 in the morning. I still remember the date, May 10th, 1955. There's a cross Broken Arrow in Building C. We were on our way to Broken Arrow that day in a truck like that, and my driver, we were coming up to a curve, it said only 5 miles an hour. I do not know how fast we were going. We got rolled. Destroyed the truck. They took me over to Nellis, I don't even know. I was out for 12 days.
Does the military acknowledge your injuries?
They finally did, yes, but the thing was at the time they didn't know I had shoulder problems. And x-rays don't show like the Major League Baseball players have, the torn rotor cuffs. They don't show that. And I've had that until the VA came in Minneapolis looking people with shoulder problems. I've had the shoulder problems I got out of service, but x-rays never showed it. The only thing I could do going to a specialist was because he says, "What the hell did you guys do?" He says, and you can't remember what happened because they said when they got out in the VA, the military says the x-rays you're okay, so you don't think anything else. But he says, you did something. He says, the doctors would inject me just like you get a grease shot. Some works and some didn't. And you can tell the difference if some worked in the pain, and God, that's a good feeling pain. You can feel it. If the ones didn't, it was just, this is pain. But I had this pain for 60 years. It was until 2002, one of the doctors in the VA decided he wanted to do some counseling with people that had bad shoulders in around. So he came up to the VA in Minneapolis and he was performing this test with different injections. I do not know what it was. And I do not know how many people were in it. We never told. But we did get paid for it, a small sum, I can't remember. But when they come up in the VA after I was done with the shots, there was a male doctor and a female doctor, and they're very nice about it, how they pursued on me. Jim, you didn't pass, and you didn't fail. But that's when the eyes lit up in the female doctor, you're going to go take an MRI. I went right down the MRI, right there, the machine. It was a long machine. You had to sit in it. It's not like the ones they have today. You can do it physically on the side. You had to go in the machine and like a tunnel. Put special clothing over it, and you listen to the different sounds going through your head and through your body. And they tie it down because some people just like me. If I was up and I got a wacky. You want to try to get out, you can't get out. You got to stay there until the tests are done. So that's when they come back and they analyze, Jim, you've got a torn rotor cuff. But the VA still didn't have anybody to take care of torn rotor cuffs, just like baseball did. In baseball, because I played baseball, I knew what a torn rotor cuff is. High-class pitchers that had torn rotor cuffs. There was a guy in LA that did roller coasters. He did it for $1 million, the first ones. Didn't take him too long to retire early. And I don't know how much my operation cost when I had it. I just had this operation December 31st, 2018. I'm still healing from it. My other shoulder still got some problems with it yet. It doesn't have the pain like the other one does, but I can live with it. The MRI shows there is damage there.
So you'll be back to throwing fastballs soon?
The what?
You'll be back to throwing fastballs soon.
I'm still trying to really learn how to hit a golf ball.
Okay.
Because these muscles have to be just, golf training is, you have to retrain, just like any sports, you have to retrain a muscle to get it work.
Okay. I wish you luck. Good luck.
How's it now?
Good luck on your training.
I need it.
Okay. Okay. So, after the 3 years, you left active duty.
Right.
Okay. And then what did you do?
I went back to school at my college, yeah, you know. I didn't like the general college I was going to, you know, because of the pass the test. That's all the guys coming up. And I found out because we got free education, the university's looking for guys because you got your education. The professors didn't care what the hell you did or what you said. You learn that after a while. So I dropped out of that and then I went to a specialty school called Dunwoody University and I got my electrical degree. And then in then I worked in the trades for that. And after a while, the company went out of business, so I went to some more training, went to a lighting design school. And then I got my own lighting company in 1972. Then I was a design electrical engineer for commercial projects. And then also, because I was a disabled veteran on this thing, government was one of my key suppliers that bought stuff for me.
Did you use your VA loan to start your business?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
Okay. When did you go reserves? When did you find a reserve unit and start doing reserves?
I'm not picking you up on that.
When did you find a reserve unit and start doing reserves?
The reserve at that time doing it was kind of because there was in between work, I lucked out. Didn't have to go thing. I still got paid for the time. That was the great part of it is. So somewhere along the line, I picked the right branch.
How did you get rank?
How they what?
Get rank.
At the time, I have no idea.
You're just really
Just
lucky.
Give me
Just kept coming.
They just give it to me on. Because still the reserve time, if there's a war or something come up, I could get called up, but thank God I didn't.
Thank God.
No, that's the other thing unique about when they, like the National Guard in anybody's place, there is a little clause in the National Guard because they have to take a couple of weeks in or summer training every year to keep going on and get their race and ranks. I didn't have to do that, but somewhere in the National Guard writing says if there's a war, you will go to war, and they're going to war nowadays. I can remember some of my friends, they went to the National Guard, didn't have to do anything, got the full of retirement pay. Fly airplanes, go to commissaries, got full pay. But that don't happen anymore. And of course today's military, they don't pick any dummies anymore. They pick the top people that they're going on. They don't take any deadbeats anymore.
Okay. So you're a part of this group, NAV, now. How long have you been with this group? How long have you been with the Atomic Veterans?
Well, the association really wasn't started that long ago. When we first came out on it, there was just like in the military too, same thing. They realized at the time a lot of people were doing testing and things like that. So there was a disabled veterans, disabled American veterans that took us in, and it was called MILRAD 68, and we would meet maybe once a year with the military veterans on it, and searched out our things. Of course, the different laws that were being written too for military, looking for military radiated veterans. And they finally passed a law that to be a radiated veteran, you have to pass this test, a means test, a money test. You have to take the blood test, the psych test, and everything else to do that. There was no money involved in that, but the other thing, but now we're classified as Atomic Veterans, and even on my medical records, there's, like Atomic Veterans, us guys have a purple color on our folders. So when the doctors are new doctors, they know white colors who they're working with.
Okay. That's really cool.
And we weren't getting any paid. It was just it's the association did tried to work with us, and then they did come out with the different degrees of what cancers were, what kind of wounds were had, to work on your compensation.
Are you still in contact with a lot of your comrades from that time?
We used to have quite a bit of our meetings now. We used to meet Lake Mead Base, but after a while everybody got burned out, and we were dying off. I think the most of 1,000 that we had here, excuse me, I'm burping up the piece of the chicken at our break. that we had, and of course they all died off. The other special thing that was us Atomic Veterans were having trouble with is us guys are dying with some of the military radiation that are listed on the list that the government gives us. And when we die, it's on the record of what it is. The wife is entitled to another benefit that if it's about $1,500 a month. But she has to apply just like anybody else, and then they research her and see if she's qualified. First of all, on the DD-214 or the death certificate, it has to have one of these things that are covered for that. And the VA is playing games with the wives right now. I got 5 of them right now. They're trying to collect it, and they're telling us, even like me telling me, I was never there.
You have 5 wives?
No, I got 5 wives right now that are looking forward to get their compensation.
Okay, you know 5 wives.
I'm trying to help them out get their compensation. I wish I had 5 wives.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah, they support me.
That's true. That's true. Somebody get your grapes. Somebody massage your toes.
That's the other thing. The VA, when you're going for your compensation claim, the VA has they have their own attorneys for that. We do not have attorneys yet for that doing that. We have what we call service offices, and they're not on the same wavelength. And I'm trying to tell you, it's just like the mafia did years ago. The mafia would lose their cases when they go to court, being the mafia. Now, mafia got smart all of a sudden. Hey, we're going to train some attorneys so we go on the same wavelength. They didn't lose as many cases. That's why I'm trying to tell the service officers, people, send some of these guys that are doing the service officers, send them and get some training, get their law degree. So we're on the same wavelengths with these guys, and we can win the cases. I said that to the officer that was a national commander. He was talking about how good his services officer were doing in the American Legion. So I raised my hand and told him just exactly what you did. Hey, you got some good guys, send these to school. you'll find out we're gonna get more compensation when you get to maternity suite face to face.
That's really important. Okay. Do you have a wife?
I have, and she died at 92.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Any children?
4, 2 and 2.
Okay. Grandkids?
And the other thing I got to bring up too, because I was exposed to radiation through the family Jews to my wife, and I had 4 kids that have physical problems. 2 of the girls had scoliosis, and the boys have eye problems. I don't have any eye problems, and nobody in our families has scoliosis. The one girl had a complete back operation. She's got 2 stainless steel rods in her back. The other girl didn't have that, but she still got the coverage of her back. And the government, the United States government, what you were talking about there, the Marshall Island people, they don't get nothing either. And the people that, all of us guys that are exposed to radiation with the programs that are involved, the government doesn't even look at us. The other thing which we're told about, which we did, and I can't do it, when we first got to base, working with nuke weapons, we were told we can't give blood for the simple reason that I just told you. You don't know if radiation follows the senses. You can't see it, can't hear it, can't smell it, can't taste it, but later on in your life you'll find some problems. Like this stuff here, they showed it to these girls. I got this all over my body. And some of it is cancerous, some of it's not. Some of it bleeds, and when it gets that bad, I have to go to the VA to give me they shoot me with the frozen ice to burn these off. This one hasn't been burned off yet. They've tried it here, but it's still there. Once in a while, it does fess up and start bleeding on me.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay.
You don't have to feel sorry if I prefer cash. Let's go happy hour.
Okay. We can head to happy hour. Is there anything you feel like we haven't discussed or that should be added to this interview?
I'm not picking you up again.
Okay. Is there anything you feel like we haven't discussed or that should be added to this interview?
No, I think I discussed more than you probably ever want to hear in your lifetime right now.
No, we're great. I want your story to be heard.
You've never heard it. It's a true story like these guys out here got. See, I work with them, but the other guys in there are just guinea pigs. They stood in the trench and did the same thing as I did. And they had orders. I didn't have orders. The only orders I had to do in case they got a hand, shoot to kill.
That's really something. Okay.
But that doesn't mean no, because on our base, we were exposed to radiation all the time. Because like I said, the Q and the C buildings, I was on that broken arrow deal, shielding, B shielding, and D buildings. They usually handled uranium or plutonium. We never know which one won. But I found out after on the when they had that broken arrow, these buildings are constructed with 6-foot doors and 8-foot doors and ceilings that blow out. Well, the building that I guarded that building and with security, we let people in and out of that area, and I held the badges every day. All the badges were full of radiation all the time. Whether it was uranium, plutonium, I have no idea what it was. But when something happened, it blew these doors and blew the roof right out. And I can still remember some of the times when I was there daytime, boom, that door, it's a big noise. Everybody can hear it. The doors blew out, it's just like a blue haze.
Were people in there when this was happening?
Yeah, they were inside the door. The physicists were in there putting this material together.
Did they die?
It was never like an explosion. It was just some fusion. It was never put together. But when it got so hot, it just blew the doors open.
Oh, wow.
No, then it wasn't anything. It was just like you had puff of blue smoke. It just, it just blew you. But you can imagine the power of the doors that they had there, but these doors were equipped with very sensitive doors to get any type of, pressure or radiation to blow those doors open.
That's a lot. That's a lot. Okay. Anything else you want to add? Anything else would you like to add?
No, the only thing I had when I was that the woman who was up there, because the building right here in town is the nuclear weapons. They make the little time slots for the bombs, and very precise. But she was young enough. But I said before, and when we were in there to visit the other day, they said that business that what they're doing, what they're making the timers and everything, they quit making that in '92, so there's no hot stuff in that thing. But what the question I asked her, the same I just told you, like what the key word, if there was, they didn't have a key word, because if they did, she was not there at the time. But she understood. I said all the employees that were there, they did have the Q clearance. And I asked them too, is it writing? She said no. I said, it's the same thing. It's just like I'm telling you, it's all verbal. For the simple fact, if you're military, you'd be collecting 100%. You wouldn't have to go fight the government. They made that. They were thinking way ahead of us guys.
That's terrible. Okay. What message would you like to leave for future generations that will hear or view this interview?
Yeah, if there's anything more, somebody wants to ask me some questions, it'll be a pleasure to make sure I get my compensation.
Is there a message that you'd like to leave for young vets or civilians about joining the military, or about what you went through, or anything? Any last words of wisdom or grace or anything like that?
Well, the other thing when I give talks about this is just like you're pointing at, like everybody has, these kids got these in their hands all the time. The Marine Corps finally made them take them out of their hands going through boot camp. I think the rest of the military is going to do that too, because this is their thing, they're doing that, and everybody's talking on the phones. They're not talking to anybody else with it, but there's a mandate, the Marine Corps, and they come in shipped to home just like their clothes. They gotta go. The other thing when I give a talk today, because all services take the best branch they want to do. And also, if young families with kids in high school, they're looking always to get a college education. I says, take your time with your kids and tell them, hey, the military, go in 2 years or 3 years, come out, you can know if you want to stay in the military, you got the discipline, you get a job. If you want to go to school, you got money to go for 4 years. It's very simple. The military, with all their computers, when you walk in that door as a young kid, and the guy tells you, like I wanted to be a pilot, they didn't give me that chance, or anything like that. The computers that we got today, they have to write, fill out that psych sheet and the other stuff that you fill out. They can tell you right away what you're good for. And if you're not even good for that, like I say, you get out 2 years, you get your college degree, do what the hell you want to do. It's your choice now.
100%. Okay. That concludes our interview with John Hamann. Thank you for your time today and for your service.